let it be amended. If it is going to benefit hanzvadzi dzedu vari kuhura, vari pamajubek, vari kuhople, just go pamajubek up, enda kuhople, enda kuushawo kunze, enda kuEpworth. You see how our sisters are being exposed. These are the results of poverty. High rate of poverty. It claims also high rate of prostitution, which is happening in our nation. So the amendment of our constitution, if it is going to benefit our sisters, kuti vasiye chipambi, let it be amended. If our constitution is going to be amended for the benefit of an ordinary Zimbabwean citizen, arikudande kumasau, let it be amended. But if it is going to benefit only a small minority, only a few people who have already made money through our national resources, then what is the reason for us to amend our constitution? And this is the word to those people who says they are of the opposition. I represent the church. If you are on the opposition, my question is, if you are still quiet today and you say you are of the opposition, you are opposing what the ruling party has been doing for the past 43 years or 44 years, as the opposition, what have you done so far as the constitution is concerned? And zvinorwadza, tinozoerera takutaura izvi tinenge tisingadi kutaura isu vana Nyamakanga, tinenge takazvinyararira, but zvinozotirwadza kuona kuti those who claim to be of the opposition, they are even saying they have already endorsed that the president must go for third term. You know why they say that? Because they know that the president vacancy 10 years, either they will remain in power also. I cannot say it leadership, I'll call it power actually, because I haven't seen yet leadership qualities, so I'll call it power. Because they know they will also continue for the next 10 years in power. Because Kugara Parliament is bringing bread and butter on their tables. Kugara Parliament ndo kunoita kuti iwo vana vavo mhuri dzavo dzirarame, and they don't have the heart for an ordinary Zimbabwean citizen. That's the reason why I've opened Proverbs chapter 29 verse 2, where the Bible reads and say, when the righteous are in authority, people will rejoice. This is my question to you people of Zimbabwe. Are you rejoicing? It's just a question. Are you happy? Are you rejoicing? How can the people of Zimbabwe rejoice when our pharmacies at Kuma General Hospitals, they don't have medication? How can people of Zimbabwe rejoice? How can the people of Zimbabwe rejoice when our youths Garama Bridge exposed to drug and substance abuse? How can the people of Zimbabwe rejoice when we don't have marodzi edu akabvaruka? And lastly, how can the people of Zimbabwe rejoice when we don't have industry in Zimbabwe? Just go per Market Square. Just go per Eastgate. Then Eastgate. Eastgate here. Pazara mavenda. Chisei mavenda azar. It is because there is no industry. My goods, mazhinji are being exported from outside countries. We cannot manufacture. Even my condom in Zimbabwe, we cannot manufacture my condom. We don't have a factory, we don't have an industry that is producing condoms. If we cannot produce condoms, what about basic things? Is the amendment of the constitution, is it going to benefit you and me? That's the question I want you to ask yourself. Is it going to benefit you? Is it going to benefit your mom, your parents? Is it going to benefit? You remember, we were promised the free education. And up to today, there is no free education. So who is going to benefit? Is it going to benefit Wikina Uchivayo, who is dishing out cars like somebody who is dishing out water buns? Who is benefiting? Mungawe ambuya murikumusha murikundinzwa sekuru murikudo tito, a youth wherever you are abroad. This is the question I'm asking you, and I will continue to ask this question again and again. The amendment of the Constitution of Zimbabwe, specifically on these things, who is it going to benefit? Are you the beneficiary of the amendment of this Constitution? Am I the beneficiary of the amendment of this Constitution? The opposition, what are you doing? Opposition, vana Douglas Mwanzora, hanzo vanatenda ibiti, vana Shabangu, what are you opposing? That's my question to you. Don't you think this is a fertile ground now to prove that you are an opposition leader or an opposition party? Don't you think now it is a fertile ground? You now have the grounds to oppose. But until now, those that claims to be opposition are still quiet. I continuously ask you this question, people of Zimbabwe. You might be hearing me in UK, in Australia, in Ireland, in Germany, in the United States of America, Kukadoma, Kwadotito, South Africa, Mozambique, Gorongosa, wherever you are, as long as you are carrying a Zimbabwean passport and a Zimbabwean identity. This is the question I, Bishop Kevin Nyamakanga, I'm asking you. The amendment of the Constitution, who is it going to benefit? Saka nyaya idzi atirege kuramba tichidzitaura. Vamwe patakasungwa musi wa 2 August tikapinda tikaiswa kuchikurubi up to 28 September, 57 days incarcerated in maximum prison, tini ma leg chains. Vanhu vakafunga kuti we are playing, we were not playing. And when it comes to Zimbabwe, it is our business. Kuna mane tendency of trying to silence people. You can silence people, but you can never silence the voice of God. If this, I will tell you again and again. You can silence people, but you can never silence the voice of God. And tell you what, God is raising another generation. A generation of force. A Forca dancer. A generation of force. A force of change. And the church is there to propagate justice. The church is there to stand. The reason why I speak like this is I've realized, I will explain this in my next podcast. The church and politics. I will explain this in my next episode podcast, where I'll be explaining how false prophets, and on this Faith and Grace Revolution podcast, I will be exposing with names false prophets who have exploited these ordinary Zimbabwean citizens. And tell you what, chaura ya Zimbabwe vanhu vaviri, only 2 people vaura nyika ya Zimbabwe, the politician and the preacher. And Zimbabwe inogona kuita kuti zvakanaka kana vanhu vaviri vavatendeuka, the politician and the preacher, vachishandisa in ordinary Zimbabwean citizens. Kutambudzika kwedu kwangu newe, nobody should take advantage yekutambura kwedu. Ukaenda kuchurch, there are prophecies, fake prophecies, vanachitorwa ma offerings, a lot of things are happening. Chiri ari kuexploitwa is an ordinary Zimbabwean citizen. Ukauya ku politics, the same thing. So we are saying on this podcast, Faith and Grace Revolution podcast, will be exposing every shenanigans that the devil is using to manipulate God's people and the citizens of this nation. Ndoda kuti ndikusiye pano. In our next episode, we are going to have different people. We are going to invite vanhu vakasiyana siyana, whether it's from the ruling party, whether from the opposition. We are going to invite them and we are going to ask them. We are going to question them because it is our constitutional right. Kuti tinzwisise kuti what is really happening in our nation. May God continue to bless you and may God bless Zimbabwe.